Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hello.
Thank y'all for being here. I hope you watched the premiere we just had of our latest Bigfoot video. We have Sean from Eating Good in the Woods here with us.
Hello.
Sean is actually the one that invited us to the Pisgah National Forest. They do it, what, you do it twice a year, Sean?
We try to do it
Um,
twice a year. Yeah.
Oh,
You have another one
We
coming
may
up
be
in
backing
October?
it down to just the fall because we've got another investigation area that we want to check out.
Oh, really?
gotcha.
Yeah.
Really?
Hmm.
And if
Well,
if that one works out to be feasible, it may be there in the spring and then up in Pisgah
okay.
in the fall.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll tell you,
it'd be neat.
you know, especially for us being first time to North Carolina, uh, man, it's so pretty out there.
It is
And
indeed.
and a little creepy. Not even
Yeah,
gonna lie to you, it's
It
a
is
little bit
indeed.
creepy.
different.
Let's see here. Let me make sure we're
It's a different vibe out there.
okay. Hold on. I'm trying to see if there's any. I don't see any comments yet. Live chat. Okay, it says live chat has moved. Awesome. Anyway, whatever.
This is hey.
Well,
I don't
I'll
know.
say this. I know
Yeah,
some
no, they're
spooky
there.
stuff. You need me
Go
to?
ahead.
Okay, I was just going to say I know some spooky stuff has happened there, and there's no denying it. You saw it with your own eyes. But
Yeah.
I say this a million times. I feel safer out in them woods than I do downtown Asheville at night. It's
Well,
just
Oh,
I've never
yeah.
once
When we
felt
first
threatened by anything we saw out there or heard or anything.
no, I never did
no.
either.
Well, when we first got up there was a strong scent.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
was
The
it was
night
really
before you
strong.
guys, sorry, the night before you guys got there, we kept getting this smell wafting through that it smelled of, pardon my language please, but it smelled like a blend between fart and cigar smoke. It was the weirdest
Right.
thing I've ever
Hmm.
smelled. Yeah. And hey,
Yum.
I just want to say this, my usual disclaimer here. I'm not here to convince anybody of what I've seen and what I believe.
Nope.
I am simply here to tell you the things that I've seen and heard. Not trying to
Uh-huh.
convince you. I'm not going to get on my pulpit for Bigfoot or anything like that.
No,
I'm just
we don't do it
simply
either.
telling you what I've experienced. And now Tommy and Rachel have experienced it as well. But you know, you have your own stories to tell as well.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. You know, and I'll say this all the time, but it stands true every time. Is we never set out to do any of this.
No.
You know,
It was accidental for
obviously,
you guys.
yeah, obviously Van Life Channel, and we're at a place, you know, kind of like we're not going to say where we were in the Pisgah Forest, and we're
Please.
not going to tell you where exactly where we were in Oklahoma, but man, in that area, and just howling, and then, I mean, there's some you can't deny, you know, but uh, no, I will say this. I don't remember the first time we talked, Sean, but it's been a while, and
Mhm.
we've been friends on Facebook for a while,
We have.
and he'd asked us about coming out, and things just hadn't worked out, and you know, I mean, it's a long ways out here from Oklahoma.
It is.
Let's be real,
It's worth it.
but we we came out this time, and it worked out
It
perfectly.
did.
It was an act of providence, act of God, if you will, or whatever, because it was perfect timing for us to show up.
Well, like I said, like it or not, you're one of us now. So you want
Uh,
to come to any of these, you just let us
yeah.
know.
Unfortunately, I fit right in. Rachel did too,
Yeah.
but because she's
Okay.
pretty, and I fit in because
Well,
I'm a stupid head. There were a lot of stupid heads out there,
there was.
but
Well,
I
of course
like
there
the
is.
stupid
Yes.
heads. So
So I alluded to this in the chat of the video that we all just watched. Is Candy on right now? I told
She
Candy
was
I'd tell this story.
earlier.
let's see. Let me do something real quick.
All
That
right.
was 6:37. I just want to go through
6:37.
here and acknowledge everybody that's here. Candy Apple, if you're here. Danny Wade and Rambo, Murphy's Outfitters, Road Warrior, Sandy D, Alice. What's up, Alice?
Hello,
All the
everybody.
time. What's up, PC?
Nice to meet y'all.
Mate. Yeah, thank y'all for being here.
Anna.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
just a
think
little.
she's here, but if not, go ahead and Go ahead
Okay,
and tell your thing.
just a little bit about my channel. I started out doing videos on how to kind of up your game on camp cooking. So I've got a bunch of
Mhm.
videos on my channel doing cooking stuff. And then I started
Right.
doing campground reviews, and that kind of took over. And then I also have some Bigfoot stuff. So some of the stuff you may hear me mention is probably going to be available in one of my bumps in the night videos.
Right.
But anyway, uh, I alluded to this during the chat, and hang
Hey,
on.
what's up, Candy? Yeah. No, you're good.
Anyway, so this is the funniest story of the whole weekend. All right, so you guys are off on that trail that John E. discovered.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
saying John E. because I didn't get his permission to say his last name.
You're fine.
Bigfoot John will
I
refer
know
to
who
him,
you're talking about.
and then Scotland John, because we had two Johns. Anyway, so y'all were back there on that trail that Bigfoot John discovered, and
Mhm.
Rachel decided she was going to take a look on the other trail by herself.
Mhm.
And I got to tell you, she went up that trail like a dad Jim mountain goat. I mean, it was blump, 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 and she was up it. And of
I
course,
did.
Badger followed her. And she was up there for a minute or two, and then I saw, first of all, I see Badger just come barreling out of the woods, and I hear, nope, nope,
Uh-huh.
nope, 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 and here she comes running. I thought
I
she
heard
went down
something.
she went down the hill as gracefully as she went up it, but she, nope, nope, nope. I'm like, dear God, what was it?
Yep.
He said,
Mm-mm.
you'll have to agree to this or not, but it was like I heard something rustling in the woods, and I heard something growl and breathe heavy, and I'm gone.
She's done.
Yeah, it was
Well,
bad.
that's not
That's
her
the
first.
funniest thing ever.
No. Hey, can
Oh,
you turn
goodness.
that down?
That's not her first time
We can hear
running
feedback.
or going off in the
No.
woods by herself. We were in Oklahoma and she did it,
Uh,
and it was. I mean, she just without a headlamp on or anything, with brambles and thorns and everything. She never fell.
For punishment.
How you didn't even fall?
Don't either.
Well, I don't understand.
oh, dude, I thought she was for sure going to eat it, but nope.
Oh yeah, no.
She come down great.
Well, for a little woman, she has big feet. She's like,
Yeah.
and I say that with her setting right here. My wife is beautiful, but she's built like a weeble wobble a little bit with her feet.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all I do anymore because I'm handicapped. But that's
Right,
for another
right.
time. Yeah. But
Okay.
anyway,
Well,
somebody had asked in the comments what we were looking at on that that incline, and
Mhm.
if you look really carefully, you could see where it looked like something had come down and kind of slid their foot
Smash.
down the side. And
Mhm.
well, first of all, okay, I started doing this. I was kind of an agnostic when it came to that. I'll believe it when I see it.
Mhm.
Uh,
Right.
wife is full bore. Bigfoot exists, and it turns out, you remember that show In Search of when we was kids,
Mhm.
Leonard Nimoy. Her and her dad
Yeah.
used to watch that, and they loved all that spooky stuff. And so she was the believer of the two of us. I was just more
Right.
skeptical or agnostic. But I can say now that I don't know for certain if it exists because I haven't seen one. I have done everything but see one,
Right.
and
Right.
I've heard growls, I've heard howls, I've heard some of the worst bird calls you'd ever want to hear. We were in the middle of the woods in Tennessee once, and I heard a sheep out in the woods. Not a sheep for miles.
What?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We're just sitting there, and
Looking.
and out of nowhere. Meh. Had no
Yeah.
idea what it was. But anyway, I I just say all the time to people that I've seen and heard too much stuff out in the woods to unequivocally say this
Badger.
thing don't exist. And
Yeah.
I think you two have kind of gotten to that point too. Accidental or not, you're in this now because you've got the curiosity, and that's kind of where I am too.
Right.
I, I'm stuck between what I want to believe and what I can prove. I
Yeah.
want I want everything to be Bigfoot, of course I do. However, whenever I hear something, see something, something awry, I try to work the situation from what
Absolutely.
backwards. In other words, trying to
What
figure
it
out
can be.
I
what
think
it
any
can.
reasonable person does that.
Yeah.
That's right. Now, one of the things, and I know we talked about it, but one of the things that happened on the day you all were there, Scotland John was out walking his dog, and he was about a mile away from the campground,
Mhm.
and he looked
Right.
up across the river and up on the top of the hill, and he saw this rust-colored bush, is how he described it. And he
Mhm.
thought about it for a second. He said, something about that bush doesn't look right. So he looked closer, and it looked like a head, shoulders, and then a torso.
Right.
Okay. And again, he thought, it's just got to be a bush or something. We went back to that site no less than a dozen times and could not find that bush again.
Bush.
Bush was gone. Bush was gone,
Yep.
which leads me to believe it weren't no
Mhm.
bush.
No.
No, I listen, and everybody there seemed pretty credible.
Yeah.
That's what I like is when you can be out with people looking for this, and not everything they hear is Bigfoot.
Mm.
Every little thing, like they're like, well, this could be that or whatever, and that's the way we do it. I'm not gonna. I don't want to be that person. And in fact, we have a video coming out from right here from
Here.
been here with
Sorry.
Ronnie and Diane here. And Ronnie, I don't know if y'all any of y'all watched the videos. Like the last one
I
that came
did.
out was Roan, and he's a mountain goat, and he's been in these mountains for 40 years.
Hey, come
Hey, Badger's losing his
Badger.
brain. Hey,
No.
I just if you walk past, you won't do that. Anyway, sorry about that.
That's all right.
Situations. Our van is parked out here beside their house, and we'd heard this 2 or 3 nights in a row. You could hear something howling off out roughly
This area.
roughly Roan Mountain.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a mountain, and we'd heard it, and but I didn't want to just assume. Well, that sounds weird. So
Allie?
we were going to bed one night, and I heard it, and I said, "Hey, Ronnie, can you come out here?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "You hear that?" He goes, "Yeah, I hear it." I said, "What is that?" He said, "I have no idea."
And you said it was saying Allie?
No, it was howling.
Howling.
Howling. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Now,
So
this I would have to ask for a couple of questions. First of all, how far away is he from anything that resembles a neighbor?
it resembles a what?
A neighbor.
A neighbor?
He's got one across the road.
I mean, there are houses in interspersion here, but it's not it's not packed in here. We'll say it like that. I mean, I could say where it is, but I won't.
You don't. The reason I ask is, like on Finding Bigfoot, they'll go out there and they'll wind up to this big howl.
Right.
The Carolina howl, which I've heard several times, doesn't have that wind up. It just starts off with woo, and it goes on.
That's what we heard today. We heard one today. We heard that today.
Now I have to ask this too. Every time I've heard it, okay, I'm a musician, lifelong singer and musician. I can tell when it's more than one voice. So times I've heard it, it was one voice. And it would go on for way longer than like a human's lung capacity. So it would go on for like 45, 55 seconds, stop for a second, take a big breath, and then start right back at it again. Now, I'm old. I smoked years ago. Maybe I can't howl like that for a minute, but I dare say there's not many that can. So I'm willing to, and one of the nights we heard it, we struck off and went searching all over the mountain trying to find if there was any sign of any humans down there. But that was the same night that we were at that area where, no, it wasn't either. It was a couple of nights later. I told Scotland John, no, I said, look, it was about 10 o'clock. It was a Thursday night. We're all real tired. And nothing was really happening. So I said to John, I said, ain't nothing happened. I'm going to head on back to the campground. And I went to go stand up and I heard, whoop. I thought, well, I think we can stick around a little longer.
Right.
So we stuck around a little longer, and John's brother, who came into it, not a skeptic, a hardcore non-believer, It's a bunch of bunk, blah, 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 whatever. He, at the edge of that site, there's a drop off, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And he walked up to that edge, and he's like, that's a bunch of crap, blah, 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 blah. And then we hear, only much lower because,
Mm-hmm.
and he turned around, started heading back to his chair. Well, this has been fun. All the while, this thing growling back at him. And I have a FLIR camera, and I scanned the woods. I couldn't see anything. So unless there's some little tiny ground-dwelling rodent that has a super low growl, I couldn't tell you.
Don't know.
And we heard that growl up there the night we were up there. We heard that growl several times. Not only that, but I heard what I can only describe as like and I think I said this to you, when the dog settles down, spins,
on the video.
settles down and goes.
See,
it was
I
like
think
that.
I heard the same thing.
Yes, but it was like that with a little bit of a growl. So it was like,
yeah, yep.
No idea.
It'll get your attention.
It will.
Oh, yeah.
That will get your attention.
Listen, the really weird thing, you remember in the video you said we're trying to get the barred owls to call.
Mm-hmm.
That was the quietest I've ever heard it up there. I mean, not even bugs were making noise.
No, it was very quiet the night we were there.
And every time I do that barred owl call, usually 3 or 4 of them respond to me. None responded that time. That's very unusual for a bear.
Sorry, Badgers.
Come here.
Yeah, it was very quiet that night. Extremely quiet. And it wasn't windy or anything. So you would think without it being windy, you would have been able to hear a little more, but we couldn't hear anything.
No wind to wash the sound away.
Yeah. I do need to say on the video that we all just watched, even with the computer and all that, I couldn't slow down what kind of happened. I won't say what happened to me. What I witnessed, actually didn't even witness. And anyway, I heard a single knock. I was out by myself, just Badger and I heard
I watched the raw video with you, and I heard it.
Yeah, it was a single knock. I just couldn't. I don't know why. I'm not great on the computer yet. I did what I could. However, there was a single knock, and then so when I got back to the campfire, I was showing people. I said, I was letting them listen to the knock. Well, Sean, you actually were the one that said, "What was that light?" There was a light jetted across there, and just a split second, real bright. It wasn't it wasn't any kind of reflection or anything, because there were other reflections in that video that looked. I mean, there were nothing like that. So,
well, I'll tell you, I don't know how much I buy into this theory. With Bigfoot hunting like this, a lot of times people will come in with supernatural and that sort of thing. But it has been reported many times that those lights come around when there's a Bigfoot present. Now, some theorize that it can turn into an orb and disappear. Some theorize it goes into some quantum black hole or something. I don't know that I buy into any of that, but that has been reported many times. Yeah, and I have seen orbs in graveyards, but who knows?
Well, I didn't see that light because I heard the knock, and I was kind of looking off. Apparently I was looking off over this way, because I was like, I wonder if that's them. And I even said on the video, that's probably them knocking, because there was another group. 3 of them had went off, and they were going down another trail. So when I got back and I showed the footage to Sean, I wanted him to hear the single knock. He was like, well, it's not them, because they always knock 3 times.
3 times.
And then he saw the light on there. So that's why I didn't even see the light, because I would just heard the knock and I looked off. But Sean saw it, and then whenever they got back, they actually verified that they knocked 3 times every time. So listen, weird stuff going on out there, and
very weird.
And like I said in the video, I don't know if anyone could hear it, but a lot of times, and you saw these too, the red lights all over the place up there. And I said to Tommy, I said, yes, it's all fun and games till one of them red lights blink at you. And if I'm lying, I'm frying. I saw a red light out in the woods, and I watched it go like that. All right.
No.
in New Mexico in 2013. I saw them.
No kidding.
Yeah, I don't know if you watched my two separate Bigfoot encounter, whatever you want to call them, videos. I had one in 1986, 87, probably 87. One out in the mountains of New Mexico was 4 teenage boys. I won't tell the whole story, but we were driving in the mountains and shouldn't have been. We were supposed to be in Amarillo, but we were in northeast New Mexico, northern New Mexico. And my best friend was driving. I was sitting. It was like 2:30 in the morning, and out at the edge of the headlights, something went boom, boom, ran across, and it wasn't a bear. Bears don't run like that. And like, it was so shocking that we just drove for like a mile. Then I asked him. I said, "Hey, Jim, did you see that back there?" He goes, I was hoping you didn't." So, and then it kind of, I didn't really think much about it at the time, but it was weird. It was like a big, I don't want to sound stereotypical, but
A big
long
thing,
brown, big, tall, brown, huge thing running across the road, bipedal running across the road.
Person thing.
And then
something.
in 2013 with my ex-wife and kids, I had a situation where there were multiple, and this is up in the mountains, up near Tres Ritos, New Mexico. So,
not a place that you would normally attribute to Squatch.
Well, I mean, there's been actually
it's becoming more frequent.
What's that?
I said it's becoming more frequent. Panhandle of Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, even up into Oklahoma and Kansas. In fact, it was about 6-7 months ago there was a sighting in Kansas.
New Mexico has some big mountains. Don't kid yourself.
They do.
Up in northern New Mexico, there's some big boys up there.
Okay.
So, yeah,
I've not been that far away from my life yet.
Gotcha. Oh yeah. Well, a lot of people don't know. You say New Mexico, you think it's it's dry and deserty, and there is desert in New Mexico, but there's some. I think the highest peak in New Mexico is like 13,000 feet, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would have never thought.
Yeah. It's
He's like, I would have never thought that.
Alpine up there, something like that. Let me jump on here and let me make sure we're not missing anybody.
Hello, Carissa.
I think. What's up, Ronnie? I don't think I've said hello to Ronnie yet.
Hello, Ronnie.
Anna Rodriguez, how are you? Again, everybody, this is Sean from Eating Good in the Woods. Road Warrior, Candy Apple, always a real sure. I said sure.
Bye, Murphy. Sorry.
Yeah.
You had to go.
Carissa, how are you? Murphy, you had to go. That's fine. PC, Panhandle of Texas. Yeah, I'm from the Panhandle of Texas. Candy Apple. Yes, I believe there are interacting humans more these days. Yeah, I believe so. And Jacob Maloney, heavily wooded with a high deer population. New Mexico has trees.
Yes.
Yeah, northern New Mexico. If you don't know, you go look it up. It's
right. When I think of squatchy areas, I think I have 3 qualifiers. First of all, protected land.
Right.
And
there's a lot of that in Mexico.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know this, that Teddy Roosevelt is who set up the national park system. It's also rumored that Teddy Roosevelt was a big believer in Sasquatch.
Right.
In fact, I think in his autobiography he alludes to it. But anyway, so I look for protected land. I look for good sources of water. So we're 2 for 2 now where we were.
Mm-hmm.
And I look for food sources, which I know you probably didn't see any stuff like we've seen there, but the place is loaded with squirrels and chipmunks and possums and deer. And so there's definitely food sources up there. So that's kind of the 3 things I look for when I think this could potentially be a squatchy area.
Well, those are definitely, none of those 3 are lacking in northern New Mexico.
No.
Trust me.
God, now I got to go to northern New Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's anyway, we won't keep talking about it, but it has a reputation as being a desert state, and I'm kind of like Arizona. A lot of Arizona is, but there are huge mountains.
There are mountains, yeah.
So, how long have you been involved in this Bigfoot hunt investigation, looking at them, trying to find them situation?
Well, okay. Back in 2014, or shortly before, it was one of the last camping trips we went on in our pop-up camper. We were in Greenville, South Carolina. And it was the last night of our camping trip. And it was about 3 o'clock in the morning. And I heard something boom on the side of the camper, and it woke me and Deb and our dog up.
Uh-huh.
It woke us up, and then I heard. I'm going to do my best just to imitate it.
Just do it out what you
It
can.
pales into comparison to what it was, but you heard the boom, and then you heard it's just a brief couple seconds, and then I heard what sounded like. I'm just a country boy. I was raised in the sticks of Florida. You know, a lot of people think Florida's 2 strips of beach with Disney in the middle. There's lots of country.
Right. No, there's
Well, anyway, so if anyone's ever slaughtered a chicken, you know, you grab them by the feet and they flap, trying to correct themselves. And so it was boom, and then the sound of that, like leaves fluttering. And now here's the thing that got me. Molly the dog loves everybody, loves everything. She sees the deer and doesn't understand why the big dogs won't play with her. Well, Molly got up underneath the sheets, plastered herself up to Mrs. Eatin good in the woods, and shook for an hour.
Really?
And now,
wow.
me and her, we were willing to just discount it as, put it back in the mental Rolodex of weird stuff that's happened while camping and don't really ever talk about it. Well, the second time Deb and I went out to go looking for Bigfoot, it was in North Georgia. And we were sitting around the fire, and some of the people were talking about some of their experiences. And a little bit of it started to ring true to our experience. My turn for the floor, I told the story. And the guy that was one of the leaders there, he said, "Can you make that sound again?" And I thought at first he's going to make fun of me or something. Like when a mechanic asks you to make what sound your car's making again.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. I would have made you do it again too.
Well, he did, and I did. And he said, when you get back to your camper tonight, I want you to look up, and if anyone's listening is interested in what it sounded like, look up samurai chatter on YouTube. And I did. We got in the camper. Oh yeah, let's look that up. And this thing went off. It's one of the only known recordings of what they suspect was 2 Bigfoots talking back and forth.
Right.
Wow.
Ron Moorhead recorded it back in like 1974. It was given to audiologists, speech people, language people, and they all said the same thing. It's whatever it is, it's not human, but it is most certainly a language. Okay, great.
Right.
So this thing cranks up and we hear this, and man, we looked at each other, hair stood up on our arms, like that's what we heard. That is totally what we heard.
Right.
So I went back the next morning and told the guy that, man, whatever that was, that's what we heard. And he said, well, congratulations, you've had a Class B sighting, which apparently is everything but actually seeing one. And I kind of kicked myself. I was just too scared to look out the window. I should have looked out the window, but I didn't.
I don't blame you.
Pansy.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
So that's how we got into doing these Bigfoot things. Yeah. And we've been on some for the BFRO. We've been on about 5 or 6 of them, and I think we've done 8 or so of these up in the Pisgah National Forest. So I am far from being a pro, if there's such a thing. I'm just a very observant person, and I hear things, and when I can't figure out what it is, I try to work things backwards and go from what we know it isn't.
I'm liable to hear something
where we only one thing left could be.
Right.
I'm sorry, Rachel.
I hear things more than he does, I think. He's like, I didn't hear that.
Unless
I'm like,
unless she's in the back of the van at night.
True.
and that's when I've heard like the kids talking. And I know y'all have heard that out there.
Oh yeah, well we heard it this weekend, or 2 weekends ago rather. I tell you, none of that stuff unnerves me, but when we hear the children of the forest,
yeah,
that's a little.
Very, I haven't heard that yet. So
you have not.
She has.
No, I haven't heard that.
She's been in the back laying down, and I was editing the one time I heard it, 1 or 2 times, but I was editing and like it was real late and had the window down, and she was just in the back, and it was pretty faint, but you could I don't know, probably it sounded like it's maybe 20 yards away. You just hear like her
Yeah,
Like
I
a child
I
described
don't.
abduction.
I described it, and that's why I call it the children of the wood, because it sounds like, and I don't mean to sound sexist or whatever, but it sounds like two little girls giggling and playing in the woods about, like you said, 20, 30 yards away.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I've heard that.
Jacob
I've heard that up there
Jacob
several
Maloney
times.
said. Jacob Maloney said, "Rachel hearing more than you is due strictly to Metallica." Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of Metallica in my life, so that's probably
Dude, I'm a
right.
lifelong musician, and I can hear it. I've been around the big amplifiers and PAs and all that stuff, and I can hear it.
Yeah,
Which is a miracle. But anyway,
what was I gonna? What is one of the weirdest things that you've experienced?
That's easy.
Out doing this.
This was about 4 expeditions ago. There's a young lady that joined us, and we were. I've got to say this first and foremost. She had just washed her vehicle. Now you saw how much dust obviously is up there. That was the dustiest I've ever seen it. But her truck was otherwise clean. And there's a bit of this if you go to my channel and go to the Bumps in the Night folder, you can find this video in there. Anyhow, so we're sitting out there, the campfire again, and everyone's just being back and forth and whatnot, and that's kind of what you want to do because supposedly that draws them close because they're curious.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we kept hearing. Well, first of all, we lost count of how many little rocks had been thrown at us. I had one land right behind me. And Rachel, was it you or was it Randy that in the video said something just threw a rock at me?
That was Randy. That was Randy. I was like, if something threw a rock at me, I'd be gone.
She would.
Sorry.
She'd be right in the van.
I'd be
post haste directly in the van.
I just want to say, this was the fall, and of course the acorns are starting to fall from the tree. Now there's a distinct sound that an acorn makes when it comes to the tree. It's
Oklahoma.
like a game of plinko, plink, 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 and then it hits the ground.
Yep.
This when we would hear them coming, this was more of a whoosh with a trajectory like it's been thrown like that. And then of course it's bounce, 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 bounce. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how we were determining it. But that time of year is black walnut season too. And I don't know if you know anything about black walnuts, but it's a big pod with the hard husk nut inside, and of course you got to get that off, and then you get to the meat of the nut. Well, the reason those fall off the tree is because they get soaked and they're just heavy and they fall. So when they hit the ground, most times they make kind of a sound. Okay. So we're hearing all these noises. We're out of nowhere. We hear the sound of this. Now on the top of this girl's truck. Now, you and I both know this makes a different against metal, makes a different sound than this.
Oh yeah.
This. Something hit her truck. The next morning, because it was dark up there, the next morning we looked and there was a handprint on the side of her truck, and it was not a dusty truck with a handprint in it. It was an otherwise clean truck with a dusty print on it.
With a dusty handprint.
Oh.
And it was, let me back up if I can. It was kind of like, memory serves me, that's about the angle that it was. Now, and it was angled in a way to where if you just use your imagination a little bit, you can see that it's a handprint like this. And I kind of thought it was something looking around the bed of her truck at us.
Right.
Using her hand to support itself and looking at us from around the truck. Now, it is pointless to take samples of this stuff anymore.
Right.
FBI don't want to hear about it. The government don't want to hear about it. A lot of times you send that stuff in and you ask for the results. Oh, we lost it. Okay, so we didn't bother. But I will tell you this: it was super greasy and it stunk to high heavens. And if you go on my, oh god, yeah. And if you go like rotten oil, like rotten cooking oil, and if you go on my channel and look under the I think it's called New Bigfoot Sightings. If you look and blow the picture up, you can see this part of the hand has dermal ridges and the fingertips have dermal ridges. There's only two things on planet Earth that has dermal ridges: humans and primates. Deduct from that what you will. I just know what I saw. And we all saw that. And we heard everyone heard the slap against the car and all that jazz.
Well, you know, we were at the place out in eastern Oklahoma where a subscriber invited us to come out, and he has 50 acres that abuts against the Ouachita National Forest, and that's where there's been a lot of Bigfoot activity.
When you just even go down in there,
when you drive down in there, you can feel
there's a presence.
But last October, when we were there the first time, last night we were there, we were sitting out on the little driveway. It's just a shop, is all it is, with a little living area. We were sitting out there, had a fire, and we had the exact same thing. The little rocks being thrown at us. They weren't. I mean,
it wasn't acorns.
They were acorns, but we had little rocks being thrown at us. They were landing over here by our feet.
Yeah.
And that's when
acorns are plunkety plunk. Yeah. Acorns are plunkety plunk as they come down the trees. These make a wood.
There was none of that. You could hear that. And that was when I got up and walked down probably 15 yards. And I was standing there at the edge of the woods, and it's thickly wooded. I was standing there at the edge of the woods with the lights off and just nothing. I don't know why I did it. I just did, because I'm weird. She'll vouch for me. Yeah. And I was standing there, and Mark said, "Hey, go down to that little road. And there's a little pathway. There's a little path up there, and it was just like maybe five more yards down." And I walked down there, and I sitting there looking into the dark, and I sat there for probably 20 seconds, and I heard, whoa, whoa. That's exactly what I heard. And that's exactly when Fat Boy Tommy went. I was like, because what it felt like was something saying, "Hey, you need to go away now."
You know,
and I hated it. Yeah. And then whenever we went back in March or so, I went back. There was no, I guess the most disconcerting part about that is there was no place for the thing to hide.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Well, there was no place
for whatever that was. There was no place. Like, there were no trees. When I stepped over there where the road was, it was
a pathway.
So how did I not see something that would?
I think it was hunkered down.
Whatever it was, it made me leave, and it made me.
I don't think
it was inviting me to go away, and I accepted that invitation to go.
It may have been crouched down.
Away.
I will say this, and it's of the theories, let's say, that people go on about as far as Squatch is concerned. This is the one to me is the most plausible, that these things are able to disguise themselves. And whenever I say that to people, they're like, "Oh, you're crazy. This thing doesn't just disappear." And I say, we've got a lizard that can change its color to fit in with its situation. We just recently discovered a species of squid that turns transparent when you spook it. So why is it so hard to believe that this thing couldn't, I don't know, shift its hair, whatever, to make it look like it's not there?
Well, let me tell you this, and I have never said this. I don't think I've ever told this story on the channel. I think I told you. I think I told that night about the little dog. The little dog story. Did I tell you that one?
I don't think so.
No, but we were at it.
Yeah. We were at Mark's. The last time we were out there, we were there. It was just us. We were out at the end of civilization, and he was very kind to let us be out there. We got to had the shop, so we could have showers, do all that. It came in and stormed real bad one night, and right after the storm blew through, you could hear a dog yelping outside.
It was like it was hurt.
Yeah,
it sounded like it was hurt.
It was like something was hurting it.
It was whining.
So I didn't think much about it. It's just, I mean, because way down the road there are some dogs. I figured the dog came down there, whatever. So I walked outside for a second, and our van was sitting here, and then there's I'll move my hand so you can see, and then so the van was probably 15 feet in front of me, and then over here was a tractor probably about the same distance to my left. Well, I was sitting there, and a little dog about the size of a badger, but a little bit darker, walked out, and it was limping on its left rear leg. And it just kind of startled me, and I saw it, and I said, "Get out of here," like that. And it looked at me all sad, and it looked like, "Please help me." And it just kind of limped off, and it limped around the tractor. And I sat there for maybe 3 seconds, and I was like, "I'm going to go see," because it was light out there. It just shocked me that that dog walked out from behind the van. When I got around to where the tractor was, or on the other side of the tractor, he was gone. There was nowhere for him to go. It's a good 30 yards to the woods, and then there's and it's a big open area with a floodlight. Like, there was nowhere for that dog to go. So I've heard, I've told that story to a few people, and some people are like, it's like
No, he told me that, and I said, you probably just encountered a skinwalker.
And I don't know about all that stuff. I don't know, but I do know. But
I don't know.
But I do know that the little dog, like I said, is about the size of badger and almost the same kind of dog, whatever he is, canardly, and darker. And then he just had when he turned around, when I said, "Get out of here," and he kind of looked at me like, "No, please come help me." And then he went. He went around. I couldn't see him beside the tractor.
Nothing.
3 seconds later, I walked around. He was gone.
If that dog was hurt, he could have ran off that quick.
Right. But at bare minimum, people say all the time, how come we don't get pictures of these things? And I say to them all the time, I said, you see a deer on the side of the road, one hop into the woods, and you'll never see him. If anything, this is proof that animals can disappear in the woods like that. And never to be seen again.
No.
Well, whenever I saw the one in up in the mountains of New Mexico in 87, 86, it had to be 87. Yeah, it was 87. Like I said, it was in the mountains. There were no houses around. There was nobody waiting there to prank us that knew we were going to be there. It was just boom, 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 right out at the edge of the headlights. And so things can hide, things can get away quick. I don't know about I just don't know about some of the
other cryptic type things that happened.
I just know what I've seen,
what I've heard,
what we've heard.
Well, I haven't seen anything. I've heard, experience smells, sounds.
Our oldest son, who's actually on the chat, Jacob Maloney, was there for the one in 2013. He can verify.
Right.
But anyway.
Well, it's said that you can smell them coming a mile away, and that smell that you guys heard Friday night, or Saturday night rather, this is a smell we smell every time we know.
Oh, it was vile. It was.
Yeah, it's
foul. It was a smell I never smelt.
Yeah.
It was
pungent.
Nasty.
I've told you this, and I tell people this all the time. Watch your dog's behavior.
Oh, he was acting strange.
Oh yeah. Mrs. Eatin Good in the Woods. She had 2 experiences up in this over by the campground where Molly just freaked out and would get behind her and start pushing her like, "Come on, let's go."
Right.
And which is very strange for her to act. And then she just said that I just had this feeling that something was watching me.
Are you okay, Badger?
No, go ahead.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. We had badgers up in the woods up here.
He was up here barking.
He jetted down. I thought he was running from something, and then he ran so I could tell he had zoomies. Yeah,
he's running.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
There was something weird.
Sorry.
I was running. Anyway, so something obviously had freaked Molly out and wanted my wife out of there. And which is very unusual for her. But Deb just said that I just felt like something was watching me. Felt like I was being watched. And and we had another friend that said, whenever you have that feeling, just grab your phone and just do a 360, a slow 360, take as many pictures as you can, and then look later. And she showed us 2 pictures where she found tree pictures. Something was looking at her. So And again, getting back to this, I promise y'all I'm not a sexist, but whenever I just think that women are more in tune to that feeling
Oh,
than
I
men.
fully agree.
Right.
Fully agree.
You know, us,
And I think
us knuckleheads, we won't think twice to go over the ramp. Women will think
Right.
twice about it. Well, anyway,
I agree.
That's just part of being boys, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
whenever my wife, or for that matter, any other woman says, I just feel like I was being looked at, I believe her. I believe her instinctively, because I think women are more in tune to that feeling than
I have
men
no
are.
problem. I have no problem with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That because because since they're not as, I think some of that, since they're not as physically able to defend themselves as we are, they have to be on
We
a
have to
higher.
have
They have to have
yeah.
different alert system.
I don't know. I've seen my wife kidney punch a guy twice at a bar. So true story. Anyway,
True story.
yeah, this guy kept
I'm
spilling
just
the
trying to.
drink on her. Yeah, pow pow. Anyway,
Let's see. Second Maloney, evidence suggests that it's more often than not that you can feel someone watching you. Yeah, I mean it is. You know if you're being watched.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, tell me, did you guys feel like you were being watched up there? I dang sure did.
I mean, yeah, I did. Hold up. Sorry, this is loud. I'm sorry. I knocked the dead cat
Still
off my mic.
uneasy a little.
Yeah,
but
there are places that when you get there, you can feel something, and that is definitely one of those places. Just like Mark's, out in, right on the Oklahoma Arkansas line. It's you can, okay. Well, there's something happening here.
Yeah.
One thing I do need to say, and I alluded to this in the during the premiere. We are going to start another channel, and that other channel is we're going to separate our van life stuff and our cryptid stuff. Like, I want to separate those two things. I mean, I don't know exactly when it's going to start, but we're going to be trying to actually be going and doing more Bigfoot, cryptid specific things, and that way I can have the van life that I want to do. Let's be real.
Yeah.
I like doing the van life stuff. I'll be honest with you though. The Bigfoot stuff, the Sasquatch cryptid stuff, it's fun to edit, and I'm not even gonna sit here and tell you it is. It's fun to edit. Making something spooky is easy. It's pretty simple. But so that's kind of the news. The name of the channel is going to be Cryptid Chronicles RT.
Cryptid Chronicles.
Got to stick with the RT.
That means you'll have to make more trips. That means you'll have to make more trips to the old 828, if you know what I mean.
Well, apparently it does mean that, and I'm okay with that. I am fine with that. I am fine. So I don't know exactly when we're gonna.
You alluded to you might be back in the fall. Is that a possibility?
I would love to be back in the fall. I mean, it all depends on, well, something else on here. I will, since most of the people on here are people that are on here pretty regular, and I'll go ahead and say it. June 4th.
We're having
June 4th. We have to be back in Texas because our son, who's on here, is going to be a daddy. We have a gender reveal.
Awesome.
So
yes.
Yeah, we're going to be grandparents.
Yay.
So congratulations, Jacob. Everybody tell Jacob congratulations.
Yeah, tell him congratulations.
So
congratulations.
We have to go back and be there for that, and we have to get Rachel's license.
My license done.
Yeah, we have some things we got to do. But
now, how's that even possible? You guys ain't but 27.
Okay, sure. But I think
go with that.
He said we're not but 27. Let's see, Rachel looks young. Rachel's 6 years younger than me.
Oh man,
I'm a cradle taker.
My birthday's coming up too.
Yeah, she'll be. I mean, will you be 40? She'll be 46.
I'll be 36.
Sure.
Yeah, I've always looked like a mud fence.
I'll be 46. Yeah.
I know. I'm the same way.
Which was great when I was younger, buying beer for all my pals, but kind of busy in the field as I got into my 50s.
Right.
And then you get up there, you're like, well, this is. I'm just old now.
I was never older than that. I was younger.
Right.
My birthday always come after school.
Right.
So.
Was it like late in the afternoon or something?
No, I meant like it
Oh,
was later in the month, so
I'm dumb. I don't know words.
it was usually the
So
summer birthday.
we're coming up on an hour. I don't know how long you guys usually do these things, but I was just going to tell you one other
It's around
thing
that
that
time.
happened up in that area, and then maybe we can take
Yeah,
some
go ahead.
questions.
Yeah. Can you handle this for a second, Rachel? Can y'all handle this? I have got to use the bathroom like nobody's
Yeah,
business. Y'all got this?
Yeah, we got it.
Is he?
I'll be right back, y'all.
Oh,
Hey,
whoa,
John,
whoa.
if you have a story to tell, go right ahead.
Yeah.
Rachel, is he going
Well,
off the porch?
I'll scoot over.
Is he going off the
No,
porch?
he's gonna go potty.
Yes.
Off the
He's gonna.
porch?
No, he's
Attaboy.
not. He's
All
actually
right,
gonna use
so
the restroom.
the time it was just four of us. It was me and Scotland John and his brother was over from Scotland. Wanted to see what all the hubbub was about, and then another friend of mine. And this was the night that I heard a whooping, and we said, "Well, let's stick around a little longer." Well,
Right.
we were just about to leave, and this was on a Thursday night, so I know for a fact, because I scanned the woods, I know for a fact we're the only ones up top there. And we were about to leave, and I said to Scotland John, I said, "John, why don't you grab that stick over here and give a tree knock and see what happens?" All right. So he goes over. There's one particular tree, you heard it yourself, one particular tree that's really resonant up there. And it's only, that big around. It's not very big, but it's really resonant.
Yeah.
And John went over there and gave it a good whack, and nothing. All right. I gave it another minute or two, and I said, "Hit it again, John." And he gave it a good whack, and then a few seconds later, we hear probably 100, 150 yards away. And I said, "John, give it 2 knocks." So whack, whack, he goes. And a few seconds later, we hear. Now, that's the kind of response you hope for. If it was just accident, something falling in the woods or whatever, 1 knock would be explainable.
Okay.
2 knocks back? Mm-mm.
No, there's something, whatever was answering.
Something with opposable thumbs.
Yes.
And I couldn't imagine a bear going, But anyway, so we're pretty happy with that, and we called it a night after that. But we've had plenty of times where we've knocked and things knocked back, and we've had plenty of times where we've knocked and nothing knocks back.
Right.
So I don't know.
The only time Rachel went in the bathroom with her mic on. Don't go off and leave that running. What was I going to say? Who knows? Probably something stupid. That's fine. You're good. But yeah, we had Badger's whining because Rachel went to the bathroom for 4 seconds of her life. But no, we really had such a good time. Thank you so much for having us out there, Sean.
Oh, man, it was totally our pleasure. And I say this all the time too, that a night in the woods will get you closer to being a believer. But you don't have to be a believer to just enjoy sitting around the campfire and telling the stories.
Absolutely not.
At the end of it, it's 3 nights in the woods and camping and all that jazz. It just so happens that you got to see things that you probably weren't going to see anywhere else. Hear things, smell things, etc.
Right.
We had a freaky good time. We did.
And very good time.
Great.
It was, and everybody there was awesome. Everybody there was awesome.
My buddy Jeff got whistled at. That's the other thing. He whistled and something whistled back.
Yeah.
Forgot about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they also kept smelling like wet pee.
Yeah, I mean that could be one of a dozen things. It could have been just that something peed there,
Right. But if you're just getting it really strong every now and then, it's weird. But I don't know. Anyway.
Anyway, well, you want to take a few questions?
Yeah, I mean, let's see if anybody has any. Or I can go through here and I can go see if there's.
And again, just making sure I'm not up here on my pulpit trying to make y'all believers. I'm just telling you what I've seen and heard.
Mike Jones, I wonder if you could draw Bigfoot in by frying some bacon spam. Have you ever tried the bacon spam, Sean?
No, but now I'm intrigued.
It is.
It's
It is
good.
as glorious as it's. Badger, quit. It's as glorious as it sounds. It is
It's
magnificent.
really good.
But maybe we could. He said maybe we could draw him in by frying some of that.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
oddly enough, people do use food to draw them in.
Yeah.
And
Well,
people
listen,
use young children too, because that they say that draws mothers in. That
Right.
draws the mothers in to see what the babies look like and stuff. In fact, we used to have a
But I've
girl that
also
came out quite regularly. We called her Squatch Babe.
watched Babe.
Yeah.
Uh,
She was just
I've
really
also
young
heard
looking, but she was in her mid-20s, but she just looked really young.
right. I've also heard that. I mean, this be women on their cycle will draw them in.
Yep.
That's what I've heard anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to hear noise in the woods and then go to every woman, hey, by chance, or, but yes, I've heard that as well.
I'm gonna ask him.
Make sure I'm not there when you do, or maybe make sure I'm there when you do.
Oh yeah, no, we will. We definitely will.
Love
Let's
to see.
see. I want to make sure I don't miss anybody here. Hey, what's up, Shadow Wolf? Just browsing. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Candy Apple still on?
Road Warrior Joe Matarese. I mean, we have a lot of people. We have a lot of people on here.
Yeah.
It's very, man. It's
Mother
so nice. So
Mother
nice.
Of doggos.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, some
Yeah, I
of
didn't see a
Candy
lot of
Apple's
questions.
some of Candy Apple's comments in the live premiere kind of led me to believe she's intrigued. So, Candy Apple, do you have any questions?
She just left, though. I think.
Yeah.
I think she had to go.
But we actually met her in October. Right. I think it was we left her the day we went to March to the
Yeah.
And she's had her own encounter, and she never really believed in them, but now she's had
One
So
in the
I
woods.
mean, here's the thing: everybody's a lot of people are non-believers until they see or hear something, and then they change real quick. You know, and this is what I tell people: people can say that there's not or whatever. That's everybody has their own thought. But
Absolutely.
my only thing is you can't say it unequivocally that they don't exist, because you have not been everywhere in the world. You have not been omnipresent at every point in the world at the same time to see that they weren't there.
Right.
That's all I can say.
And I forget there's actually a number attached to it, but how many acres of woods in America that the Parks Department says has never been trampled by a human foot?
Discovered.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of acres.
Yeah. So how would you? That's what I don't like, is the unequivocal. They don't exist. Like me, I know what I've seen or whatever, but there may still be a different explanation for it. There may, but I'm not going to sit here and say.
Don't. That's the word I'm trying to look for here. You should explore every avenue, no matter how hyperbolous it seems. So when we were trying to figure out what Scotland John saw, I mean, I went through the most ridiculous stuff. There was people from a certain group that was up there the night we were up there. That was getting wolf laurels, or not wolf laurels, but mountain laurel and some of the other wildlife or wild plants that we have up there. And what they were doing is they're basically stealing them off public land and going to do their landscaping and selling them to them. So,
fun.
Is it possible one of them guys saw that bush and said, "Hey, I can move that"? I suppose it's possible. There was no way we were getting up there to check it out.
Right.
But like that tree that fell the night before y'all got there.
Yep.
You could see where something had been walking around that tree.
Yeah.
So if we were able to get up there to have a look at it, we might have seen more evidence. But anyway,
still on here.
What are
they? Okay. Zilla on here wants to know what the encounters are listed as. So like A, B, or a Class A or whatever. Do you know those?
Yes, Class A is you saw one. Class B is you've make sure I get this right. Everything but saw one, and then it gets to C, D, and E. It starts to be a little less adventurous, a little less
right
experiences and such. You know, I heard one out in the woods one night that's probably right around Class C or something like that.
Right. But if you have like a visual contact with one, that's Class A.
That's Class A. Yep.
So,
and I've known plenty of people.
I've had 2 Class A's.
Plenty of people that have seen them.
Right.
And you know, look, we talked about this one night that what percentage of people actually report or even tell anybody what they saw, and we are guessing at between 10 and 20%. No one wants to be ridiculed. No one wants to be called a fool. No one wants to say, "Oh, you saw there, you didn't see."
Crazy.
So they just keep it to themselves. Heck, Deb and I kept that story in Greenville to ourselves for years. And it wasn't until we were around a bunch of like-minded people we figure out what it could have been.
Right. Well, it's, you know, I didn't even think about telling anybody about the one in '87. I mean, you know, especially a teenage kid, I was chasing girls. Let's just be as real as we can be. I was chasing females, and well, that happened weird. Okay, where's the next girl? You know, so it is what it is.
That's right.
Let's see. Here's a question. Is it possible that when someone actually sees Bigfoot, that they literally experience self-denial of that encounter?
I would think so.
I think a lot of people, you know, see what they see and then say, couldn't be what I think.
No, that's
can't be. Can't be.
Yeah, it can't be. Yeah.
You know, just like that's why I think
whenever I try to work a problem backwards, people like that automatically see, knowing what it was they saw, and they try to figure out anything else it could have been.
Yeah.
Whereas I start with what it could have been and work my way backwards.
Well, you know, like whenever kids have seen things or whatever, I think as adults, and I've said this about a few different things, adults, we know when we look at a certain place, we know what we're not going to see. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like a kid with their, you know, with their open eyes and all that, I think a kid will see things that we won't see because they don't expect to not see a Bigfoot or whatever, you know. So I don't know how I worded that makes sense, but we know what we're supposed to see, but a kid doesn't know what they're supposed to see. Maybe that's a better way to say it.
Well, you know what they say.
But yeah,
kids, drunks, and yoga pants never lie.
Yeah, that's true. They sure don't. Yoga pants tell the truth.
Mine do.
Nothing but the truth.
Oh Lord.
Oh well, Sean.
Well, there's an image you ain't got enough whiskey to burn away.
It has been a complete pleasure, Sean. I'm
Man,
so
it
glad.
has for me too, and I feel like I've made a couple of new friends that I may only get to see twice a year.
Right.
Aww.
Well, who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
I know it's pretty out here.
It is
and
beautiful out here.
we've really enjoyed being out here, and we've really enjoyed. You know, Ronnie and Diane here have been amazing. And then Kevin and Melissa have been great. But it's just been y'all.
Yep.
It's everybody we've met has been amazing. But anyway,
well,
again,
like I said, by hook or by crook, you're one of us now. So if you ever want to come, you just tell me you're coming.
I'm sorry, y'all need to up your standards. All I can tell you. Anyway, y'all have a good night, Sean. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks.
You too. Hey, please go by and check out my channel if you don't mind. It's Eatin' Good in the Woods.
Absolutely, y'all
go check out his channel.
We'll go put a link to his channel on the community tab. Y'all, please go check him out.
Hey,
we'll talk to y'all later.
Love you guys. God bless y'all. Be careful getting home.
All right.
God bless you.
God bless you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.